People, it is craziness out there. It is craziness out there. Okay, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. It's a beautiful day here in Charlotte. The weather is absolutely phenomenal. It's breezy, it's sunny out. So if it's nice where you are, I don't want to keep anybody inside longer than they should be today, so let's go ahead and get into it. We have a lot of stuff to go into, honestly. I don't know if this one's going to be short, but okay, starting off, I've just got some bullet points. PSA is super slow right now, right? Okay, everybody's submitting cards. Just expect that. Expect major delays. Even my 20-day turnaround is behind, which I feel like if they give you a turnaround time, that it's supposed to be the turnaround time, but I guess that's a loose thing. It's not 100%. So far, the cards that I've sent to the vault, because I am buying in this market still, I am pointing out the fact that I do think we're in a peak market, and there's opportunity everywhere and elsewhere than all of the hottest chases. But I'm still buying. I want to talk about that further in the video, but my experience with the vault, sending stuff to the vault, and saving a little bit on taxes, my experience with that has been very, very slow. And I know PSA is doing that now, not eBay. So probably a big reason why things are slowing down in that respect. And I think I expected that, but I'm just letting you guys know. Your submissions are going to take longer. Your vault submissions and withdrawals are going to take longer. And okay, the BGS Gold Star Rayquaza that I sent in, that cross grade I've still not been notified of what's going on with that yet. So it's still in grading. It's been in grading for quite a while now. So I don't know. I feel like if they're going to reject it, I would already know, right? I would already know. I don't know why it's taking so long to figure out whether they're going to cross it over to a PSA 9. And all the subgrades were 9s, and then the centering was 9.5. So, like, really feel like we got this, guys, in the bag. But, okay. Anyways, moving forward, buying still. Another one of my bullet points. I know that it's crazy to buy in this market, guys. And I'm not saying you should do what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm doing because, honestly, I've become more of a collector than I've ever been right now. Right now, I'm going after stuff that I love. Now, I've gone after stuff that I love, but I've also gone after stuff that I don't love as much for the sake of trying to complete those major goals, like the crystals and gold stars and first edition base. Like, I want Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise, and maybe I like a couple other first edition base cards, but I don't want to go after all of them, but I'm doing that anyways because it's a big part of the full scope of my collection goals. But now, diving into Modern and going after these cards that I think are fun and cool, that are just, even in this market, are so much cheaper than what I was going for before. So for me, relatively speaking, I'm like, dude, these cards are still a bargain. And I don't know if other people will feel that way, but I think that's a big driving force in the market right now, is just people, everything is relative, right? If you're a new collector, you're not thinking that you're buying at the all-time highs. You're just thinking you're buying at market. So that's something to talk about, because I don't want people thinking that I think it's a great idea to be buying heavily in this market. I do not think it's a great idea to be heavily buying in this market, but I'm doing it because I love some of the cards. I don't care if I lose money on them. It's not all about money, and I think when you're buying in a hype market like this, it's even easier to say that. If you're like, nope, I'm willing to take it on the chin if I take a 10, 20, 30, 40%, 50% for a lot of these cards, haircut, right? If we see something like that, it would be devastating, right? But it wouldn't be the end of the world. If I bought the card for this much, I'm going to buy it way, way less as well. And I think that's a lot of the arguments for why these cards keep going up in value, is that people that are buying them now in this market are going to continue buying as they go lower if they have the means to. Now, whether people will have the means to buy duplicates of these cards as the populations increase is another thing. But something that I wanted to talk about. Also, I wanted to talk about a really good point that my buddy made to me. And I'm going to try not to forget to talk about tag grading in this video. I'm going to try and get to that, see if we have time. But on this buying still point that I made, right? There are so many Sun and Moon alt arts that I'm pulling the trigger on right now, regardless of the market, guys. I don't care. I want these cards. I'm buying them. But, you know, I know it's a little more bubbly with Sword and Shield, but even with Sword and Shield alt arts and 10s, I'm looking and buying those at all-time highs too. I know this market's at a peak, and I'm not, again, I'm going to reiterate this one more time so it's extremely clear that I put emphasis on this part of the video. I don't want you guys doing the same thing, right? I really think if you really want the cards, go for them, but don't do it because you think it's hype and you're gonna ride a rocket ship up to freaking Mars, because that's probably not going to be the case. It's probably going to go really south from here, but we'll see. No one really knows. That's the thing. So on this buying still point, a friend of mine made a really, really good point to me that we've seen stuff like this before, and while it is a completely different market, so it's harder to compare to, when the public's perception of a card and its value changes entirely and you see a shift, that will trickle down and affect everything. I mean, if we see one of these bigger cards really shift and get some real downwards pressure, because a lot of this, in my opinion, is price manipulation. I think it's price manipulation. I think it's inflated shill bidding. I think people are way overpaying for something that they don't even understand the value or really even care about the value. I think it's a lot of people that already own the cards that are bidding them up. I think there's a lot of sinister activity that happens behind the scenes. You know, I'm the devil's advocate on a lot of cases that we have where people disagree with me on stuff, but I think a lot of shady crap is going on right now, and it is what it is, though. Like, and I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm accepting the situation, and I'm like, nope, still gonna buy. I have the means to. I can still continue forward with it, and if I choose to, I can buy duplicates down the road and lower my cost to average basis. So that's what I'm thinking about in terms of like my strategy right now moving forward with the hobby. I do very well for myself. Last night I served a ton of people. I was working late at the bar, but I made like $600 in tips. There are very few people that can make that kind of money in a single night, and right, that's really just Saturday nights for the most part. But I'm very lucky that I have a job that allows me to like splurge on cards like this that I think are overpriced right now, like 100% overpriced. And go, you know what? I don't care. I want the card. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I wanted to just one more time, the perception of these cards, if it changes, we saw Umbreon VMAX have a really good retrace for a little bit there. I don't know if that's continuing. I haven't checked up on it. But if we see that activity continue and it continues across the board, man, you're going to see a lot of people get burned. You're going to see a lot of people get burned. That's all I'm saying. Myself included, guys. I am constantly trying new things. I have a lot of success in this hobby, but I also have failures, as does everybody. And you got to admit when you're wrong. I was wrong about battle styles. We're going to talk about that today as well. Now I'm right about it. It is the perception of this stuff. And the same thing can happen with sealed products. If the perception of the value changes when they reprint this stuff, when they print a lot of sealed product, if that perception changes, people don't value it the same. That value can come down. People do not want to hear this, but this is the reality. The other reality is that things can get even spicier and explosive, and you will see values double, triple again, because that is the environment we're in. We have more people doing YouTube, more people doing openings, and less collectors than ever. So, you know, more people doing vending, more people trying to make a buck. And I think that is a big part of the hobby. I think you should try and make a buck. I think it makes collecting sustainable, but I think that's also partially ruining the hobby too, and causing prices to be where they are. So it's kind of like, there's kind of a hard truth in there that like, if you don't adapt, like it's like adapt or die. You know, if you don't adapt with the new environment and try and somehow work with it, you know, as it ebbs and flows. I mean that as sincerely as possible. Like, you've got to try and figure out a strategy that you can get behind, a niche, something that you really can stand behind and support. And you got to live that truth, man. You got to live that truth. Okay. For me, it's been theme decks for a long time, but I think I'm about to get behind the modern alt art movement. I think it's happening, guys. You heard it here. Orion is getting behind the modern alternate art movement. It was pretty cool too. A lot of the people that I sent offers were like, dude, I watch your stuff. I love your channel. And like, that's amazing. A channel as small as this one. It's amazing. So thank you guys. Okay. Sun and Moon alts, Sword and Shield alts, Scarlet, Violet, SIRs, and illustration rares. This one's meaty. Sun and Moon alt arts. The population is so much lower than the other populations that we're about to have with the billions of cards being printed. There's no way Sun and Moon is going to hurt, I don't think. Now, some of those super inflated cards, right? Worth mentioning recently is the Darkrai Umbreon. Very, very inflated card right there. Me and the homies were just talking about that card. Also, the Espeon Deoxys. Now, guys, I have my stuff right here. I am fortunate enough to have some cool... I sold a lot of Sun and Moon stuff, but I'm fortunate to have some cool bangers still. We got... and I should do this for videos more often, just to reference some of the cards. We got our Garchomp and Giratina, which is one of my all-time favorites. This thing is super undervalued. Love this one. That's awesome. We got that card for like 10 bucks. We got the Machamp and the Marshadow. I freaking love this card. I love the colors of it. We bought this for $40 a year ago, and I knew it was a 10. This is my off-center PSA 9 Gengar Mimikyu. I'm getting a 10. I don't care what price I gotta pay. I'm getting a 10. But I'm keeping this 9. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this card other than it was off-center. I mean, look at the back kind of tells you the whole story. You can see that. It's a little off-center on the back too. But if you look at the front, it's chunky on this side. But the card is perfect. There's no wear at all. So I am going to just go ahead and say that if I get 9s back that I think should have been 10s, I'm going to keep them. I may resub them, I may crack them, or I may just keep them and people will know that Orion has some super clean 9s that he holds on to. So originally the plan was just to keep the 10s, but now I'm keeping 9s too. And then this Cosmic Eclipse, I would have loved to get this one back as a 10. Again, off-center, you guys can kind of see that it's chunkier on this side. But this one was crispy. That one deserved a 10. But yeah, we've got some Sun and Moon stuff. Nothing crazy, but I've got my little Sun and Moon haul there. But like I was just saying, this one, I don't have in a 10. I'm probably still going to keep it for the kind of the history of this card. So this card's special. Why is this card special? A lot of these cards that were awesome in Sun and Moon, a lot of these alt arts were just promo cards, which is crazy. That's a box. You get the card out of a box. You know that it's there. Why does it have any value? But because of grading and the whole dynamic of grading and the struggle of grading, this card right here is super hard to grade 10. So it makes it very valuable. Even the 10s on eBay are not even, they don't even look like 10s. They have white dots on the corners, right? But there are so many that are nicked. This one right here, mine for example, just has a random chunk taken out right there. I don't know if y'all can see that little white chunk right there. I'm still keeping it, but the rest of the card's perfect, but it has a little white chunk taken out right there. A lot of them look like that. A lot of them have like this weird damage even though they're mint. And so a lot of people trade them in. This one's gorgeous though. So I think I'm still going to keep it for the artwork and to be a placeholder until I get that 10. And I'm going to be selling a lot of the 9s down the road. But yeah, okay, so there's some Sun and Moon cards that are just getting huge, right? I think the Blastoise and Piplup is undervalued right now, even at its crazy price. It felt like it was $300 yesterday, but I think that one's undervalued. The Tyranitar Sableye, I really like that one. It's not that great of a card. You should definitely not buy it, and there is definitely not one up for auction right now on eBay. Yeah. So that card is phenomenal. I do think it's undervalued. If I'm going to do it, you guys a solid, even though I don't own one. I did have a copy, but I sold it. And that is going to help fund this next one that I'm buying. Because I got that copy for like 80 bucks. I think I sold it for like 160, 140, something around there. So I didn't really make anything on it, and I had to crack it from a slab. But at the end of the day, I still have that principal amount and a little bit on top to go towards to offset the insane price of a 10 right now. Let's see what else. My boy Mewtwo and Mew, that one is insane. I love that card so much. I know a lot of people are probably going to say, like, Orion, are you kidding me? You're not going to mention the test tube Mew? But I don't think the test tube Mew is that good. I think the Mew and Mewtwo is way, way better. I love the whole dynamic of how Mewtwo is like, oh, this freaking guy. Oh my God, I hate dealing with him all day. He's like, hee hee. Like, that's kind of like, that card honestly is like the quintessential parent card, right? Like, that's like a frustrated parent with a toddler. I have been that Mewtwo many days. So I think a lot of like new parents in the hobby coming in are going to really appreciate the Mewtwo Mew Alt Art GX tag team, whatever we're calling that one. But that card is beautiful. No, I'm not going to pop it up and edit it in. That's too much effort. And you guys seem to love my videos where I put very minimal effort in and just rant. I put all my focus towards the meat of the rant. Okay, so Sun and Moon alts. I'm sure I'm probably going to forget a good couple. We haven't forgot about the Latios. Okay, that one's super overpriced right now, but still probably won't end up buying one. The Gengar Mimikyu, again, same thing, super overpriced, but I might still end up buying one. The Solgaleo, I think, and Lunala, I think, the tag team with the Lily artwork too, that alt art, it's like $900 or $1,000. That one's really popping off. The Greninja and Zoroark, I think, the Greninja and Zoroark, that one is phenomenal. I love that one. The Erica and the Vileplume, God, that card is beautiful. Some of the alts in Sun and Moon really just hit different, and I just think with their age, you can't discount their value, the price rising. I still think people aren't even paying attention to them in some respects, especially because some of the pops are way lower than a lot of these ultra modern cards. Okay, now Sword and Shield alts. Here's where we get a little bit bubbly, right? Like the Rayquaza V and a PSA 10, right? I'm thinking about buying this card, but then I think about the fact that there are, and I've got two right here, but there are so many mint copies of this card out there. I gotta say though, it does look really good in a blue graded guard. I love these graded guards. They really amp up the style and the look of the cards, in my opinion. This goes over here. Yeah, everything seems like it's getting really bubbly right now, getting really crazy, really expensive. Some Sword and Shield alts that I do think are overpriced, but I still plan on looking at, since this is still in the buying kind of section of this video. The Blaziken VMAX, guys, it's done. I have the Blaziken VMAX in a 10 now. Bless. I am still keeping my 9 though. I've decided I was going to sell them. I should sell them in this market, but I'm going to keep the 9. I'm going to be grading so many cards in the next couple of months. I don't see a reason to let go of some of my favorite ones, even if I have duplicates. And like I was saying in my other video, practice what you preach. I'm going to hold on to those 9s, flip them down the road, when basically those 9s are going to pay for my 10s today. We saw it a couple months back. We had, the Bubble Mew was a perfect example. PSA 10 Bubble Mew, $200-$300, or maybe those were $200-$300 raw all day, but you could 10 them, right? And now they're a lot harder to find, despite being a super modern set, and it's a $1,000 card. What was my other point? Yeah, so we got the Blaziken. I'm keeping my other 9s. I'm gonna flip those down the road as a strategy. Another Sword and Shield alt, the Espeon VMAX. I really like Espeon. I really like the Espeon VMAX. I finally feel like there's a card that I feel like is a better looking card than the Umbreon VMAX and the Umbreon V. Yep, there I said it. I said it. We're saying it. I think that these cards look way better than the Umbreon VMAX and the Umbreon V. I don't know. I think the aesthetic of both of them looks way better. This one's lighter with the sky and the purple and the blue. I think it just pops off. You're getting Espeon front and center in front of you. It's not just something kind of in the background. Espeon V, all the attention is on Espeon. For whatever reason, Espeon will never get the kind of love that Umbreon gets. Maybe because it's more feminine, because it's pink. I've always thought pink was dope. Pink's always been like one of the colors that I actually think is sick. But I will say, again, another Pokemon that I plan on buying, the Pokemon card, the Umbreon V. The Umbreon V, I've wanted that for so long in a 10, but I kept putting it off, I'm still putting off the Neo Discovery Umbreon. I'm still putting off the Skyridge Umbreon. And of course, you guys know I need the Gold Star Umbreon to complete my Gold Star set still. So, striking out when it comes to Umbreon, okay? The only Umbreon that I have is my Neo Discovery Unlimited. And it's a really nice copy, honestly. It's got a swirl, but that's the only one that I have. I need more Umbreon in my life. So, yeah, other than the Umbreon VMAX, that's the other Umbreon that I have. But that one's in a 10. So that's my only 10 so far. I bought that for $500. It graded a 10 a while back. That was sweet. That was a sweet move. Okay. Sword and Shield alts that I'm failing to mention. There's so many good ones. And somebody said Battle Styles doesn't have good alts. Dude, you're tripping. The Urshifus are sick. You are tripping. I disagree with that. I don't have to have a stockpile of it to disagree with it. I disagree with that. Battle Styles is a sick set. The Empoleon, super undervalued in my opinion. I think that Empoleon is super undervalued. That thing is sick. The colors pop off. I'm trying to do you guys justice. Sword and Shield alts. I feel like the Gengar VMAX is going to retrace here in a little bit. Gut feeling. Yeah, nothing else to add for Sword and Shield alts right now. I do think it's a little bubbly, though. But where it really gets bubbly is when we get into Scarlet and Violet SIRs and illustration rares. Particularly with the illustration rares, it gets really bubbly. It gets like champagne bubbly, you know what I'm saying? So the SIRs are still getting a lot of attention for how new they are, but there's still a lot of them that are kind of forgotten. They're afterthoughts. A couple that come to mind immediately for ultra modern SIRs that are afterthoughts are the Ogerpon masks. Now, I know I never talk about cards like that because why would you, Orion? You like the actual Pokemon. A mask Pokemon card, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to get behind that. I can't really appreciate it as much. But looking at it from like a collector standpoint and wanting to collect all of like, I'm not going to say I want to collect all the alt arts because that's a crazy goal, but it's an achievable goal. You can actually keep up with that goal. There's only 3 eras of alt arts, right? You can achieve that goal if you really set your mind to it. It's not impossible. But I'm not going to go that far, but I want to collect a lot of the alt arts. And Scarlet Violet base has, well, Scarlet Violet, the era as a whole, has a lot of amazing alternate art cards. Well, special illustration rares. I really wish they didn't change the name. They're all alt arts to me. But the Ogerpons are interesting because they have these really vibrant colors, and if you get them all together as a set, they actually look really, really nice. When my boy Jake first did this, I was like, that's kind of lame. And I was honest about it. Like, I'm honest. Like, if me and my friends disagree, we disagree. I think, you know, we can all have our different opinions. Just as long as you're not like proactively hurting someone's feelings, you know, like just agree to disagree on some stuff. But anyways, I didn't think the Ogerpon masks were that cool. And now I actually like think they're worth buying. PSA 10, 50, 60, 70 bucks. I think that that's a buy, guys. You get them all as a set. They look really cool together. You put some graded guards on them. They look cool. I think those are also going to go up in value. So yeah, you collect them for a time. And then once they're going for $200 or $300 a pop, and then they're going for even more if they're in a sequential set, let's say, or even just a full set, you know, I think that would be a possible move. But there are so many other special illustration rares that nobody's looking at, particularly the ones that have like people in them, right? I'm forgetting the name of the cards, but they're more of like trainer special illustration rares. But there's a lot of special illustration rares that are still not getting a whole lot of love. And so I think there's a ton of opportunity still in Scarlet and Violet as far as the special illustration rares are going, and even some illustration rares. But the price gets really out of control with these illustration rares, guys. I want to talk about these illustration rares. Horsey PSA 10, $200. I mean, Fampy PSA 10, like $200, $150, $180. The Cleffa PSA 10, which the Cleffa is sick, but like $200, $250 right now, PSA 10. Some of these illustrations must be super tough to grade, right? Like the Magikarp. Are we going to see other illustration rares soon pass $1,000 from being such low pop cards? The Scizor from Obsidian Flames. Like, damn, I love that card. I wish I would have picked that up sooner. That card in PSA 10 is mooning right now. These cards are going nutty. And for how fresh these sets are, I do think that these prices are super bubbly and you should be very cautious. Like, I'm looking at a lot of illustration rares, but those are the ones that I'm like the most cautious on. I feel less risky with special illustration rares and alt arts from Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon compared to these illustration rares. Because these illustration rares are literally surpassing the special illustration rares in a lot of respects. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that, but I definitely want to know what the entire community, what you guys think about the illustration rares right now. I feel like some people like are maybe even just collecting the illustration rares, right? Like I could see that being someone's collection goal. Like just like I want every single illustration rare ever made, PSA 10. Crazy times, guys, crazy times. And it's also getting to a point where it does make booster boxes worth buying at a higher price to open. Now, the whole sealed investment, we're not going to do that talk right now. That does work, but you can win the same way in sealed investment like you can win with slabs or flipping singles or grading yourself. There's so many other opportunities that I think are better out there. But it does make buying into sealed product a good idea because then later on when you can see, you buy into sealed product, you don't know if the cards have cemented their full values yet on the market, right? But then a year or two goes by and you see where a lot of the cards are, what they're fetching in PSA 10. And now you say, oh, well, geez, I have a pretty good chance of pulling any of those illustration rares or special illustration rares. I might as well open a couple booster boxes and have at it myself since my buy-in was like 100, 150, 200 a box. Like it starts to make those $200 ultra modern booster box prices look okay. I would still say Scarlet and Violet, in my opinion, I don't care about what anybody else has to say regarding this because it is what I have observed myself in my own experiences opening product. Scarlet Violet era is way, way more forgiving than Sword and Shield era ever was. Even when they introduced trainer galleries, it was way more forgiving. Even without forgiving. Even when the Galarian galleries were a thing with Crown Zenith. And Crown Zenith was pretty good to me, but even Crown Zenith could be brutal at times. In this era, I opened a lot of 151, and I know it's a special set and it's different, but it's usually tougher with special sets. I only had like a total of 3 dud products ever. My Blooming Waters box, unfortunately, was one of them. We got 3 regular EXs, and I got totally just screwed, but... what was I saying? Yeah, it's a good thing to maybe sit on a lot of those boxes and open them down the road as those values really become concrete. Okay, moving forward, because yeah, we're way over time. Yeah, we kind of already hinted illustration rare price explosion, right? I think there's a lot of other cards that have yet to explode that no one's really mentioning. Again, I'm gonna throw it out there. I think the Ledian is pretty sick. Okay, so I don't know why I keep bringing up the Ledian, but the Horsey is beautiful. I'm starting to realize that even sets like Shrouded Fable that I originally am like, this isn't that great. Like, dude, you got some baller cards in every single set that's come out. When you really take into account the illustration rares and you really look at the set good, yeah, these cards are sick. We're living in one of the craziest, coolest times to be in this hobby. Like, Pokemon cards right now are goated. Like, not just the market value and making money and blah, blah, blah. Dude, the artwork is goated right now. It's an amazing time to be a Pokemon card collector. Okay, the eBay market. Just talk about this briefly. Guys, I'm making offers. I'm making really good offers on stuff, and it's getting bought right out from under me. So, yeah, this market's going crazy. It's still going crazy. That's all I really have to report. Also, the market's kind of scarce. There's not as much out there as you would expect. It seems like when I'm looking for certain cards that I really want, there's like one a week or like maybe 2 or 3, but they're already all up bid and there's like 4 or 5 days left on it. It is getting tough to find these cards. Either people are holding on to their products because they think it's all going to the moon and everyone is holding on, or it's like that now, guys. It's crazy. It's getting tough out here. Even the people that know me and support the channel are like, dude, I want to make you an offer, but you know how it is. Like, in this market, like, can't go under this price. And like, totally get it. Totally respect it. But yeah, it's tough out here, guys. It's tough. I feel like I would need to even make a whole video saying, like, guys, I'm looking for Sun and Moon alt arts and Sword and Shield alt arts and special illustration rares and illustration rares, all PSA 10. All PSA 10. That is a goal that I would like to have. Not all of them, but all the ones that I want. Definitely want to have those in PSA 10 eventually. And then once I feel like I've kind of caught up with Modern for the most part, I think I'm going to double back to Vintage, and then I'm going to start hammering like first edition Jungle, first edition Fossil, first edition Neo Genesis, first edition Neo Discovery, first edition everything in the PSA slabs that I want, PSA 10. I'm going to hammer the Charizards that I never got. I'm going to go after it. I'm going to go after it. All the Pikachus that I really, really want, I'm going to start. As I evolve, the collection's going to keep getting bigger and better. I'm really excited for that. Okay, anyways, there's something very big in the mail. It is taking forever. As I mentioned, the vault is taking long. This card is it's basically almost been a month. It's almost been a month since I actually purchased this card, and it's still not here. So, I don't know when it's going to get here. It's going to be epic, guys. It's really big. It's one of the biggest cards I've ever purchased. So it's definitely going to be a historic part of the channel. And so I hope you guys get to catch that video and tune in on it. It'll be one of my hype. I just picked up an epic Grail card worth this much. But I'm really excited about that. So very shiny cardboard on the way. Very shiny. Extra shiny. What? I'm almost done, yep. Wifey's checking up on me. She's like, come on, you said this is going to be a 20-minute video. Okay, Battle Styles is officially sold out. Let's go. Battle Styles is officially sold out. Finally, my LGS is selling Battle Styles for $170. Now that it's sold out, they probably already pushed that number up to like 200, maybe 200 plus. Battle Styles is good, guys. Don't knock it. But here's the thing. Doesn't even matter that I bought a lot of Battle Styles. I'm going to tell you why. Because I could have made those gains anywhere in this hobby. I could have made them anywhere. So my experiment worked. I bought Battle Styles. I bought like 11, 12 cases. And I didn't buy 12 to start with. I think I bought 6 or 7 to start with. But I kept increasing that position because I saw a huge opportunity. I was like, dude, people are selling the cases for $600-700 all day. What? And I just thought, like, there's 7 or 8 of them on the market that I can see. Why don't I just buy these? Why don't I just buy them? Nobody else wants them. It's not scalping if nobody wants it. So I bought all the cases I could get my hands on. And then I even considered going up higher than that to like 750, 800. I thought continuing to buy them because I just thought, dude, Tyranitar is eventually going to grow. And guys, Tyranitar PSA 10, $500. The Empoleon, still super undervalued, but going for about 140, pushing 150 soon. You've got all the Urshifus. One of them is pushing 150 to 200. The VMAX, the Water Bear, with the blue. Dude, that thing is sick. And then you got the other Urshifus, which are going to look badass when I put them in some graded guards, some black graded guards. Those things are going to slap. I'm telling y'all now. I'm telling you now. You're hearing it from me. Like, those cards are going to slap. And people are going to be like, damn, I remember when Orion had such copium, he would not stop talking about the Battle Styles alt arts. But, dude, I like those. Anyways, it might even, and like I said about sitting on stuff to open, like, I might not even sell all of it so that I can open more boxes. We opened one box and we got the Tyranitar, and that got a PSA 10. So it does make me wonder, like, was Sword and Shield really that bad? Did I just get lucky on that booster box? Or should I have been opening up booster boxes the whole time? And that's why I have this misunderstanding that Sword and Shield was so much harsher than Scarlet and Violet, because I wasn't opening enough booster boxes. Maybe even now I should be opening more booster boxes. Guys, booster boxes. Anyways, I think that's all we got for you guys today. Sealed investing pros, cons that I kind of learned from Battle Styles. Pros, easy money. You just sit on it. It's basically no work. It's better than traditional investing. It's not really better. It's easy. It's easy. It's easier than traditional investing. This chain keeps coming out, and I don't know why. Other pros, it's a flex. It looks cool. You can build a sealed display background. My stuff's all in my garage. So, and that's on me. I didn't make it special and fun. I think when we move into our new house, and we start renting this one out, we've been talking about this for a while. I have 2 people that I really want to rent to. And they're willing to pay $3,000 a month. I just have to get the means to make 20% down on this next house. And Pokemon right now is commanding a little more of my attention than it should be. Something that I don't feel great about, but also I've made a lot of money continuing and pushing forward in the hobby. And every time I let what somebody else thinks affect what I do, I lose. So I don't play by those rules anymore. I don't play by the rules. All right, and neither should you. Okay, cons. Cons of sealed investing. Takes up a ton of space. Doesn't look or feel that great. You feel like a scalper. You can't take yourself seriously because you're sitting on a ton of boxes of Pokemon cards. You get judgment by a lot of your family and friends that come into your home. Oh, dude, can we go check out the cars? Dude, I haven't seen them in a while. What is that in the back of your garage, bro? What is all that? Please tell me those are not Pokemon cards. Please tell me you did not spend tens of thousands of dollars on booster box cases and boxes. That looks really unhealthy, bro. Judgment. People online that don't really understand the market, that think like, oh, you're an idiot. You spend all this money on Pokemon cards. At the very beginning of your purchases, you feel like an idiot, which is another con. You just feel stupid going through the process initially. You're like, why am I doing this? This doesn't feel like, this instinctually is tough. And human beings are not really wired. Like we were hunter-gatherers, and collecting is in our DNA in some way, shape, or form. But I really think it's not hardwired in us to, like, I don't know, invest and collect in the same things and do it over and over and like follow these processes, right? And even in Pokemon, this is a trend that isn't really, hasn't really been a thing. You know, in the 1999 boom, Pokemania, they were calling it, it made sense for people to buy and stock and hoard stuff because everybody wanted it. Everybody and their kids wanted it. And now they've printed a lot of that stuff into the ground. There's still first editions getting graded. There's still unlimited cards everywhere. There's still a good amount of vintage out there, despite all of that demand at that time. And then like 15 years went by. Nobody gave a crap about Pokemon except for the OGs, which I'm not going to say that I was an OG because I wasn't. OG is like anybody that's I want to say like maybe even pre-2018, pre-2017. Like you had to be, I don't even know if 2016 is OG because you had Pokemon Go bringing in a lot of people that didn't care about Pokemon previously. So maybe the OGs are 2015 and prior. Maybe that is like the true OGs. and maybe I am an OG and I don't give myself enough credit. I played the OG games. I had an OG vintage collection, but I wasn't as active in it as I was with Yu-Gi-Oh! So I gotta be honest with that one. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was what I kind of grew into more. Anyways, and I am going to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Eventually. One day. Eventually. I'm going to collect all my favorite childhood cards. At the very least. Kind of like Dragon Ball and Digimon too, but we'll get to that. If this channel could freaking grow, I would totally branch out to a bunch of other TCGs because I can afford to with the ad revenue potentially. But that being said, Pokemon is the one that I'm most into now. But other cons, probably went off on a tangent saying what I was saying just now. But other cons, takes up a lot of space. You got to have storage. You want it to be in a temperature controlled environment. You want it to not be exposed to the elements, which can be hard for some people. A garage is not ideal. Right now, I actually have the heater in our garage because it's freezing right now. And I'm trying to keep at least everything kind of like just room temp kind of. But in the summer, I'm going to have to hook up the AC unit if I still have everything stored in there. And if we're renting, unless I put some kind of huge lock onto the garage, I'm not sure it'd be a good idea to rent while I have my cards here. Anyways, well, I'll get to that. I'll figure that out. But cons, you're going to have losing products, right? Booster boxes are fairly safe, but there's a lot of like auxiliary products that I feel like are never going to see their day in the sun just because they're not mainstream enough. But even the most printed mainstream stuff has potential. The Charizard UPC behind me, that's a great example of something that's like was printed to oblivion. It lost so much value. People were telling me to take mine back to the store. People were telling me to take those back to the store because you could get them for $87 at one point. Now they're like, what, 200 plus? Crazy. And mainly the singles are a part of that because the promos were so hard to grade. I don't think I ever had copies that were grade worthy really from my Charizard UPCs, to be honest with you guys. I had a lot of copies too because remember I had 7 Charizard UPCs that I opened. So I went through 21 copies of promos and not one of them looked like it was a solid copy for me to grade. I have so much regret too when it comes to all of my experience opening stuff. The amount of cards that I auctioned off that were grade-worthy PSA 10 cards is wild, bro. Like the amount of promos, the Mew promos from the 151 UPCs, I want this to be a lesson to everybody because I should have seen that. I should have seen that coming and I knew better. I was like, guys, I'm hanging on to all my Mew SIRs, all the Mew promo SIRs. I'm going to hold on to all of these. And I didn't hold to that. And this is what I get. Not only did I do really well on my 151 pulls and all the value I was able to get from just ripping stuff open, like I actually either broke even or made a profit on everything that I got, but I would have profited so handsomely had I kept all of those promos. I had like about 50 of those Mew promos at one point. I know that we opened at least 50 UPCs. Something like that. We still haven't pulled the Nidoking. We still haven't pulled the Hyper Rare Mew. So if I can get 151 for a deal, I'll buy that to continue opening because I promised you guys I was going to finish the set, even though I don't even do binders anymore, really. I just want to be able to say that I pulled every card. Anyways, hopefully we get lots of reprinting and restocks. Anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. It's been a long rant. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I put my heart and soul into writing bullet points on this piece of paper, so hope you guys know that. I love you. Have a great day. Get some fresh air. Get outside. I've already took away too much of your time. 44 minutes. We've both been inside longer than we needed to. Peace out, guys.